bust slash overvalued. One of the videos where we get all the hate. Mr. Nameco right there. I'm Dustin. We don't think all these guys are going to have terrible years. We just think they're going a round or so earlier than they should, and we will explain why. But before we get into it,
so check out our draft guide, all of our other tiers and rankings, all of our other videos, and certainly go ahead and look at Fantasy University. A lot of good information on there for draft day strategies, for management during the season, how to trade. He is pretty good at trading. They're written by Dustin Barkley over there.
And our draft guide is free. There's an awesome cheat sheet on there for your draft. You need to get it there. Check it out, download it. Matt Ryan, our first bust.
Matt Ryan, Dustin.
Slash overvalued. He's going about the 46th pick. He's going as the 4th QB in front of Andrew Luck. I mean, yes, he had an amazing year last year. You watch our videos last year, Matt Ryan was on our sleeper list because people overcompensated for Matt Ryan's down year in 2015, but it was only down in the area of touchdowns. He only had 21 touchdowns in 2015. Last year, he had 38. Both of those are kind of fluky. He's in the middle somewhere. So people are just swaying too far up and too far back just based on his touchdown totals. We don't think Matt Ryan is QB4. That's a little too rich for us. That's a little too rich. I think we have him at 6 or 7 as of right now, but
again, he's gonna have a good year, and if he falls in drafts, I'm happy taking him. I'm just not paying that price right now.
It's a little high.
The other guy I'm not paying a price for is Shawn Jackson. I've never, ever paid a price for Shawn Jackson. He's going around pick 80, and the thing about Shawn Jackson is he's much better at real life than fantasy, just because of the consistency factor. Sure, he will have some monster weeks. Will help catch, a 60-yard bomb or maybe even 2 50-yard bombs. But then he'll have some weeks where he'll have one catch for 12 yards or something like that. But the defense always has to respect him because he is a deep threat. So, if I can get a guy like Willie Snead over him, I'm going to do that because I feel Willie Snead's going to be a lot more consistent. And, last year he had 56 catches, 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. To me, that is his absolute ceiling this year. I don't think he's going to surpass those numbers. And those touchdown totals, he's obviously not a red zone threat. He's not the biggest guy in the world.
CJ Anderson's next, and now we're going to get a little bit of hate on this one because people are excited about CJ Anderson and what he's going to do this year. Going about 50th pick. We don't hate that there. It just seems a little high for a guy that has a lot of injury history. He's never rushed for over 1,000 yards. He's had some good seasons. But the little bit of one thing that people aren't talking about is Jamal Charles. Like, is he healthy now? Like, if Charles could really take a chunk out of CJ Anderson's workload, they still have Booker out there who didn't look all that great last year, but still, it's not like CJ Anderson has a clear path to 20 touches a game. So that's why, at the 50th pick, there's still a lot of big name receivers, a lot of big name running backs at that point in the draft. We're just saying there's a little too many question marks for us to take him there.
Going right around where CJ Anderson is Mark Ingram at pick 52. And talk about a guy that touches are uncertainty, right? So we saw Sean Payton a few times a year just hate him for no reason. This year, Adrian Peterson's there. If he's healthy and playing well, he's certainly going to eat into the Mark Ingram numbers. And if you think about Ingram, what's his path to being a stud or a #1 or the upside there? It's a tough path, I think, to get him there just because of Peterson being there with the New Orleans Saints. So whenever I'm in the, those drafts, I would rather take I'd rather take a gamble on another RB2 than Mark Ingram at this point.
The next one is going to get some comments. Martavis Bryant. I know people are excited about him, and we're not going to sit here and say he's not talented. The guy's extremely talented. Go back to 2015 and 11 games. 50 catches, 765 yards, 6 touchdowns. So there's something to be excited about there. He's going about pick 65 right now over a lot of much safer but much older receivers. So I get why, we always say take young with upside, but again, it comes down to question marks. And I've been fooled by people with off-field issues before. Josh Gordon, maybe you've heard of him. It's just when their head's not completely in it, I bump them down in my list because there's so much of this game. Your head has to be in the right spot.
It's the human element. You got to take that into consideration. They're not robots.
The talent alone isn't going to get you where you need to be, and I just really question people that don't have their head in the right space. And as of right now, Bryant worries me because of that.
Next guy I'm talking about is the running back, or a running back, not the running back in our opinion, for the San Francisco 49ers, going around pick 35, Carlos Hyde. And this is kind of a where there's smoke, there's fire, I'm looking at it. So Kyle Shanahan's over there now with the San Francisco 49ers. He said he really wanted Joe Williams. He got Joe Williams in the draft, so that's a little scary for Hyde number 1. Then there's reports saying that Hyde's really going to have to earn the job. That's scary number 2. Reports that it's an open job. That's another scary thing. And then there's reports that Williams could certainly handle a full workload. When there's smoke, there's fire. I am not picking this guy around pick 35. It's just too scary at this point. Sure, he could have a great year, but that's why this is a little bit overvalued. There's safer guys around him that I'd rather take.
Same goes with Marshawn Lynch at the 24th pick in terms of guys that we think are safer. Like one of the big names that I looked at when looking at where he's going in draft, and the guy that's going a few picks after him is Lamar Miller. And you know, Miller is still very much in his prime age, and that offense could be a lot better. Lynch just seems like the ultimate wild card. You're hoping that he goes back to what he was, a few years ago. It wasn't even last year or whatever. And he did show signs in his last year of Seattle of kind of slowing down. I get it. Oakland could score a lot of points. He's going to get the goal line.
Got a year off. I mean, there's a lot of things to like.
There's a lot of things to like, but again, I think there's a big debate on if a year off at his age is a good or bad thing. Like, I mean,
was he
Peterson,
just grubbing on Skittles?
For Peterson, it was a good thing. I mean, I know he was riding camels around, but I just don't know. With the 24th pick, I just feel like there's much safer guys to take there.
Next guy I'm going to speak about is a tight end. That's Jack Doyle for the Colts, going around pick 120, 125. And the reason he made this list is we got on the tight ends rankings, we got some hate with Doyle. Like, he's way too low. He could be a top 5. Huh? I don't just see that happening, right? There was more talented tight ends there that didn't put up that I don't think Doyle is going to be able to match their numbers in the past. And in all reality, Andrew Luck's going to be throwing to T.Y. Hilton, Moncrief, who could be a post-hype sleeper, had a terrible year last year, but he was banged up. It's a contract year for him. And is Doyle, he had about 60 catches, 584 yards, 5 touchdowns last year. He could do a little better than that, but that doesn't mean he's going to be a stud. He's just another one of those later round grabs for tight ends that I'm looking at. And that's all that I think he is. I wouldn't draft him thinking you have the next great thing. The talent isn't there for that.
LeGarrette Blount's my next guy. And I like LeGarrette Blount. He's fun to watch.
You like Blount? You've hated on me like you Blount my whole life.
I don't.
When have you liked LeGarrette Blount?
As a fantasy running back, I like watching him run over people. He's
okay, all right, I'll give you that.
He's a fun running back.
You've hated on me for years with that.
But he's going about the 68th pick right now. If you throw out his rookie year, where he did have over 1,000 yards, his last year with the Patriots was his best year by far. Almost 400 yards better than any other season. 11 more touchdowns than he's ever had in a season. And he's going to a worse offense. And he's getting drafted as if he's, he'd be going a little bit higher if he was still on the Patriots. But he's getting drafted as if he's still going to be that guy. And there's a lot of question marks with that. I mean, they still got Sproles. They still got Smallwood. They have some options out there. And I just don't know if you can really take him at 68 and be all that excited about it. He could have a good year, but I don't know. I think it's a little scary.
So literally as we were doing this, a report came out that said Rob Kelley is the #1 back in Washington. So he's going to pick 95 right now. Rob Kelley, due to this report, and if there's more, he's the starter, this might even start creeping up a little bit. But just to let you know, this early in July, they always talk about the incumbent being the starter, and they don't give the rookie. They're not going to come in and say, oh, P. Ryan's definitely going to be the starter because he's a rookie. He has to earn it. We think that P. Ryan is going to earn it. So this report, I think he starts going at pick 80 potentially even, which we do not like for a guy that can potentially lose the starting gig, not because of injury. And that's what Rob Kelley is. He's nothing special. If you watch the film on him, he's a running back. And the thing about him last year is he had a ton of volume. And he didn't put up stellar numbers. He put up good numbers, but it's because he had a ton of volume. So
he falls forward.
Buyer beware on Rob Kelley.
He falls forward. That's about it. Check out our draft guide. Check out all of our other videos, our tiers, our rankings. We're going to be updating the draft guide throughout the preseason as things change. Okay.
That was weird.
Click the link in the card.
It was weird. I'll do better on the next one. I'm going ceiling down.
We don't hate all these people.
Give me a pen flip.
We don't hate all these people.
Give me a pen flip. It's so hard.
It's not that hard. It's pretty easy for me.